easy go.
What's up guys, my name is Your Heroes and welcome back to another video, a news video on Men of War Assault Squad 2. And the reason I'm saying welcome back is because I did make two other news videos, but it was on a different game, which is Call to Arms, and that was on the new factions that was coming out, which was the German faction and the Russian faction, or the Soviet faction in that case, on the Call to Arms. So if you haven't checked those two videos, I'll leave a video description down below so you guys can go check it out. But today we're going to a different game which I actually haven't done a news video on before, but this just came out. Now I am a wee bit late to the party on this DLC that just came out, but I thought, you know what, I thought to myself, well, why not do this, make this video so all you guys know if you haven't bought the DLC and if you're undecided, then you know whether to buy this DLC. And that's what I'm here to do, to tell you guys whether you think you should buy this DLC or not. So this is what I'm here to explain. Now this this DLC is called, if I can remember, is called OSFRONT Veteran. It's right here, and it is available just now for £7.19, and that's in pounds, that's in sterling. Now I don't know what it is in euros or dollars, so you guys are gonna have to maybe do the exchanging part if you wish. So that's maybe around about maybe like $7 or €7, but I don't really know. Whatever, you'll guys have to check it out. But today I'm going to be running over what is good and bad about this DLC, and is it worth it. Now, personally to me, is it worth it? Now, yes. And I actually haven't bought it yet, but what I'll be doing is I'll be buying this DLC, and then I'm going to be show this DLC to you, and then I'll of course I'll make some videos on it. But today we're just going to be concentrating on the news side of it and what has come out and what's new to the DLC. So without further ado, and if you do want more of these reviews on new DLC that comes out for maybe Call to Arms or any other Men of War video, then please do let me know, because your feedback does always help me, you know, to say whether you like these news videos or not. So without further ado, let's just get straight into the news. So Men of War Assault Squad 2 OSFRONT Veteran. Now I'm probably absolutely butchering the DLC name, but it's my Scottish accent, so please deal with it. Anyway, is a new faction DLC and expands on the game with new unit selection unseen in the franchise so far. Join the battle as a new German faction with 10 more vehicles and experienced infantry squads who earned their spurs on the toughest of all battlefields and in the Eastern Front. The new faction will be available multiplayer and player versus AI matches. So that's good, because that means if you guys have this DLC and your friends want to play it too, then you and your friends are able to, you know, play these missions if there is any missions for this DLC. Anyway, let's or if you just want to play versus AI, which is also a good thing. Anyway, let's move on. Today we'll be talking about the new faction in details for us. It is very important to bring up some fresh air into the multiplayer matches with the new faction. Hence we try to get away from the typical mirror setup and make units play and feel differently. Below we name the most important units and features. Oh, sorry. So basically what they're saying within that sentence is that the game, or the developers, want to change it up a little, because for years and years now, last time there was a DLC out for Men of War was maybe like 2015, 2016, was maybe 4 years ago. I actually don't know how long, I'm not very good at math. Anyway, and it's been a long time since a new DLC has come out, and they want to make things, you know, fresh. They want to start bringing out more DLC, and they don't want to keep copying as they said here. Hence we try to get away from the typical mirror setup. So they don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over, and they keep mirroring each of the factions mirror. So they're doing something fresh, they're doing something new, and they want to make it different from let's say the other factions within the games. And I know they already have the German faction, but I think this may be like another German faction, obviously called the OSFRONT Veteran or something like that. Anyway, as you can see here, that there is, as you said there are new features, 10 new vehicles, and a lot of new infantry squads, or a lot of new squads. So you've got, I actually don't know how to pronounce the first one because it is in German, so I keep right clicking on the freaking mouse. I have no idea how to pronounce it. I'll do my best. It's Legiti of Lacher. It actually sounds more freaking French than German, but I am completely sorry for actually butchering that name. Any Germans out there, and you guys are gonna probably find it funny, which is okay, because I don't mind. Anyway, let's read a wee bit about these now. These are the light scouts, so these are the squad. If you've got this DLC and you don't know what this is basically light scouts. Now if you don't know what scouts are, which probably all of you do, you can use them, and you can, before you bring out any other squads or tanks, you can spot the enemy. For, let's say, if you've got air support, then you can spot them. But the light scouts are equipped with K91, K98, MP40s, and an STG W44. Unlike other faction, the OSFRONT Veteran has no T1 units. They make up for this to have battle hardened and stronger T2 units, but they lack the numbers of other factions. Quality over quantity. Now that's actually quite interesting, and the reason I'm saying that is because, like they said here, that they're making it, that they said they want to make this faction different from other factions, which they've actually done. So they've made this scout unit very unique by giving it special weapons like the K98, the MP40, and the STG W44, and it says the OSFRONT veterans have no T1 units. Now I actually kind of forgot what T1 units are, so if any of you know what T1 units are, then please let me know. But I presume that's like tier 1 units, I'm not actually sure, but they make up for this to have battle hardened. So basically they make up for no T1 units, and they make up for this for having battle hardened and stronger T2 units, but they lack the numbers other than factions. So when you do, let's say, bring these, maybe you're playing multiplayer against your friends and you're bringing these out, now remember, if they bring scouts and you have scouts, just remember that you have a smaller number, but yet you're stronger than them, if that makes sense. So they may have a larger number than you, but they maybe like have a weaker scout, they maybe have weaker weapons, or they don't have as good, they're not as strong as you. So like they said, quality over quantity, which is quite good. So next we're moving on to the Stofftrump. I presume I'm pronouncing that right. Anyway, the stormtroopers from Star Wars use captured PPHs. Oh, so the PPH are like the Russian Pupushka or the Pushka, or however you want to pronounce it, and the SVT-40s, as well as the new MP41. Ooh, that's quite good. They are an excellent choice if you need to push for a strategic point. You also have noticed that they come with a nice camo pattern unseen in the game so far. So unfortunately I don't think they have actually a picture to actually show you the picture of the camo, but basically it's kind of like stormtroopers. It's within the name. They basically, you can push up with them if you want to take a strategic point and the enemy is pushing. Well, just get a bunch of these guys and basically they're there to hold the line, or they're there to get a strategic point and hold the line for as long as possible. So just remember that in mind. So these are good for, these are kind of like mini snipers with PPHs, I guess, because they have nice camo and they're unseen in the game so far. So they're different from the other faction. Now I'm going to be comparing this quite to a lot like the German faction that are already in the game, because they are quite similar, but these are unique and different in their own way. Okay, moving next, which is the veteran, which is quite easy to say. The veterans earned their ranks on the Eastern Europe battlefields, and unlike the first German faction, they don't carry an MG42, because the MG42 in the German faction right now is very powerful and it's very good. But the older yet reliable MG34, now that is, yeah, you're right, that is an older version, but it is reliable. And if you don't know what the MG34 and MG42 is, the MG42 is basically a machine gun, and the MG34 is a machine gun, but it's older, but it's more reliable. Anyway, it doesn't have the same suppression power like the MG42, but the 100 round and good accuracy provide long and excellent support fire. So as you know, machine guns, like big machine guns such as MG42, don't have good long range. They're only really good for close range at killing units quite close to the battlefield, and that's why you bring them up closer, close quarters. But the MG34 is different because it has, I presume it has more rounds by saying, but the 100 rounds is, I presume 100 rounds is not in the MG42, or it might do, and good accuracy providing long and excellent support fire. So you can actually get the MG34s at longer range than the MG42 and put them further back. So you can maybe put your MG42 at the front for close quarters, and then your MG34 kind of maybe behind them to give them good long excellent support fire. So these are good if you, as you say, they're veterans. They carry basically machine guns, and they've got new MG34. So make sure to try make sure to check out the veterans as well. Moving on to the Jaeger, hopefully I'm making that right, or pronouncing that right. The Jaeger infantry is an elite force of the German army. You'll find them equipped with the new G41's G43 scope and the MG34 machine gun support fire, which we just talked about in the veteran. Their auto rifle capacity and strong machine gun makes them a perfect match to allied elite infantry, especially US. We even took care of the little details added to their badge, to their hats and identity, and hats to identify them. So that's quite good. So that means you can, because if you're playing this year, let's say you're playing this new German faction to the old German faction, you'll be able to tell by their uniform. Now I'm not going to go too much into detail into this because it's pretty basic. They've got the same as the veterans, but they're a little bit better. So these are attached, they're actually good at taking on US forces, maybe the same level as the Jaegers. I don't know, maybe after the veterans in the US, I think it's Marines, so these may be quite good against Marines. So, and their rifle capacity and strong machine gun. So like I said in the last one, MG34 is good for long support fire, so you can put the MG34 at long range as well as the rifle, which MG41s and MG43s are very good rifles for taking out, I presume, kind of the same elite forces as the US, maybe Marines. So not much detail into that, but as you can see, they've put a little bit more detail into their badge, to their hats to identify them. So good on them for that, and I'll show you that if you want me to make a video on the different troops within the game. Okay, moving on to the last one. I'm going to try and get through this as quickly as possible because we do have, other things to talk about as well. So look at all of this. So I'm trying to get through this as much as possible, as quickly as I can. So we've got I'm going to absolutely butcher this one as well. I'm just going to call them the Special Jaegers, okay, because I don't know how to pronounce that. So the elite mountain infantry is extremely well trained and battle hardened. They are taught to fight in snowy and cold environments, as well as to climb up mountains to fight their foes from advanced positions. You will enjoy them with the new scoped STG W44, which was in the first one here. The new weapon allows them to fight their enemies from greater distances with excellent accuracy. Together with the G41, the rate of fire and distance they can fight at its can fight at is superior to most T5 infantry in game servers, and that's tier 5, so higher rank in the game. Of course, they also come with a mechanized infantry with the all new SDK FZ 250-1, mouthful to say, a new extra special Jaeger, use the German 3 kilogram lag gun, again some special thing there, instead of the cannon dynamite other factions face. So that's actually quite good. So this is basically a sniper squad, but it's kind of a little bit better in the fact that they come with a mechanized vehicle, which I think is this one here, or kind of similar to this picture down here, and they're basically maybe a little bit better than US Marines, although I don't know, because I haven't actually bought this DLC for myself yet, which I will do probably after this video or sometime soon. So this is a very good squad. These are like, I feel like these are the best of the best. If you run out of options and the enemy have really good, you know, if let's say you're in a snowy environment, you're on a hill, then these are the guys that you want to take out. If it's in a snowy or cold environment and you've got a mountain to your advantage, take use of this, because these are elite mountain infantry, as said within the name. So if you've got a mountain advantage and it's a cold weather, or even if it isn't a cold weather and you've got a mountain map and it's on your side, take advantage and use these infantry. Or it could be the other way around. If you don't have a mountain but you got a cold environment, these guys are still good to use because they're used to the cold. Okay, so now we have talked about all the new infantry sections here, and I hopefully all of that helped in splitting it down for you, and if now you know when to take them out and how to use them, then I hope I kind of did explain it there. Now moving on to the vehicles. Now most of these are already in the game, so I'm not gonna go over them a lot, but as you know, the SDK 50-1, which is, I think we've already got the SDK 50Z 250, but not the -1. Little brother of the SDK 50Z 251-1 can carry less personnel but isn't as big of a target and offers more agility in the case of the OSFRONT veteran. It gives you the option for mechanized Jaeger, the special Jaegers, so you can actually put that's what I was saying before, you can put these guys in this half track here, I guess, at a very affordable price, but keep in mind you get less soldiers in exchange. Okay, so that's quite interesting. So once you put these in, if you get that with the infantry, it comes as like a one. It comes as one. You don't get them separate. You get them as one. So let's say you get that. So let's say you get special Jaegers and that together. It comes out one, but you get less infantry of these guys. But if you get these guys separately, you'll get more of them. So if you put this half track and these infantry together, this half track is a lot smaller and more agile, but you get less troops of the special Jaegers. So I hope that kind of clears it up for you. Moving on, so you've got the literally translated walking Stuka. Now if you don't know what Stukas are, they're basically, you know, the rocket launcher, kind of the Russians have, the very overpowering rocket launcher Russians have, where I forgot what it's basically a Stuka. So that's already in the game. The reference to the famous dive bomber as well as a well-chosen nickname based on the sound of rockets. The Stuka's ZU FUB or FUB, I don't know, is extremely deadly, carrying large 280mm rockets that destroy everything in their path. Less rockets than the Panzer Warfare 40, but more powerful. Okay, So again, so it's kind of like the last one, so this is what I mean by, they said by they're changing a lot of stuff. So they've got less rockets than the Panzer Warfare 40, which is the other one, but is more powerful, so take that in mind as well. So if you ever want to choose between the Panzer Warfare 40 and this thing, if you want more of it but less power, choose a Panzer Warfare 40, but if you want less of the rockets but more powerful rockets, then choose the Stuka Zu Fub here. Moving on to the Guerrilla, next one, which is Guerrilla, which is an artillery piece. It's not that, it doesn't need that much explanation. It's basically the Cricket. It is armed with a 150mm howitzer, is a little brother of the Hummel, Bumblebee, and if you don't know what the Hummel is, it's another artillery, it's basically the big brother of the Guerrilla. The Guerrilla is based on the Czech 38T. It's very vulnerable, but a much smaller target than the Hummel. So the Guerrilla was actually already in the game, so it's not much. There's not much explaining here. It's an artillery piece. You can fire it. You can get, and if you can actually use this. See if you want to spot a target. See if you actually get, let's say the first infantry, the light scouts, and you have artillery. Let's say the Guerrilla. Use your scouts to spot the enemy, and then use your rocket launcher here, and use your Stuka, use your Guerrilla, use the Hummel to take them out, because it's very useful at the start, and then attack. So again, not much to the Guerrilla, and that's really it. Okay, moving on to the SDK, the SDK FZ234, based on the same chassis as the Puma, which is basically this thing but with a bigger gun. The SDK FZ234 is armed with a rapid firing 20mm autocannon and is extremely well choice to support advancing infantry. The high speed makes it perfect choice to harass the enemies on difficult locations. So that's a very good point as well. So because this is an autocannon, this is actually very good against infantry and supporting your infantry. So let's say you've got infantry and you're struggling against other vehicles. Let's say the enemy has infantry, and let's say they have maybe a smaller vehicle than this thing, and your men are getting pinned down. Bring more men, but also bring this thing, because this thing is very useful. So 20mm can take out lightly armored vehicles as well as infantry. So take good use of taking this vehicle with your infantry at the start of the game as well. So be aware of that. Moving on to the SDK FZ7. Now this is an armoured truck meets with a 3.7 centimeter flak, powerful anti-infantry and light vehicle choice, but lacks a serious armour. It lacks any serious armour. Rapid fire of the flak helps you to engage multiple targets efficiently at a relative low cost. Just make sure they don't hit you first. So this thing has basically got a big gun. It's basically an anti-tank gun. It shows right here, this is literally what it is here. It's got no armor, it's got a big gun, good against tanks, maybe like T-70s if you're playing against Russians, or maybe M5 Stuarts, maybe the Americans. So use this and put this in a concealed position where the enemy can't shoot you first, because this thing, take good use of this long range, because maybe stuff like maybe tanks like the T-70 and M5 Stuart don't have long range like this thing. So make sure you take good use of it. Put it in a maybe like a campy spot. Don't put it towards the back of the map. Make sure if you're defending, put it in a good spot where you can support your other tanks and infantry as well. So take good use of this, and make sure, like you said, don't get it first, because as you can see, this is basically a glass cannon. It's literally made out of paper. As you can see, it's got no armor. It's basically a gun on a truck with wheels. So that's literally it. So be careful. Moving on to a proper tank now, which is a Hetzer. Now we all know the Hetzer is very well. The Hetzer, which refers to hunting someone down with dogs, is also based on the Czech 38T tank. Equipped with a strong 75mm gun, it can take out any medium tank facing it. The weak armor is I can't say that word. I don't even know how to say that word. By the extremely flat angle of the armor plates, just to make sure you're not hit by any by the sides or behind. It's an ambush tank and will perform best at the main role. So it's kind of like this thing, but with more armor. Remember, it doesn't have a turret, unlike, you know, the proper T-34s or M4 Sherman. So make sure you get its support fire, so make sure it supports other tank as well as infantry. Now there is already hits on the game, but it uses 105mm with the normal German faction, so be aware of that. But the thing is this time a 75mm gun, which is also a good gun as well. So make sure you don't get flanked by other tanks, and make sure you keep it at like medium to long range, so you can support your infantry and other tanks as well. So good on the Hetzer, because it's a good vehicle. Moving on to the last of our vehicles, which is the FZ-15, which is basically the new light car for the new DLC, the OSFRONT Veteran. If you call in an anti-tank gun, they will come with a light gun carrier and some extra price. At some extra price. Well, you don't have the quantity, the quantity of AT guns like other factions have. You have the most agile choice at your hand. So it's kind of like the normal German. It's basically a scout car. That's really it. That's really it to it. Really, it's a scout car with an anti-tank gun, and that's really it. So you can maybe ambush this when a tank comes. You can maybe put this in the ambush spot and then take out the tank. So it's really kind of like a scout car, not much to it. Moving on to the last final stuff here. Now I'm not, because this is quite a lot, I'm only gonna miss. I'm not gonna go over this all, because it is quite a lot. It has been quite a long video already, so I'm only going to go over a few stuff. So I'm maybe going to go over the veteran squad, the Panzerschreck squad, which is basically an anti-tank squad with Panzer 60s. It's a cost efficient but requires you to get close to the enemy, so it's basically you have to get close to them and take out tanks. Now the veteran officer is a tough. The veteran officer is tough. You can take a lot of beating, and is supported by an elite infantry to guard him during his spotting mission. He's an excellent choice if you need more intel on your enemy. So kind of like scouting, but if you want something better, use a veteran officer. Like I said, for the Panzerschreck squad, it's a close quarter squad that you use anti-tank guns, and you get the new Panzer First 60. It's cost efficient but requires you to get close to the enemies. The slow speed of the projectile also makes it hard to hit moving targets. The Panzerschreck squads will help you deal with anything that a Panzer 60 can't deal with. Okay, so like I said, anti-tank squad with an anti-tank gun, and you have to get close range to it, and that's it. Moving on. So this is based on the Canon platform. The SDK FZ2343 can offer a short bare 75mm gun and can provide you fire support from a safe distance early on. It's fast, agile, but has no turret. It's also used against stationary targets. So it's basically a derp gun that's good against a lightly armored target, against glass cannons that have open roof, kind of like this vehicle here. But of course on another faction. So make sure you take good use of this, but use them at kind of a short to medium range, so you can hit targets that are stationary. And remember, it has no turret, so you can't move it 360 degrees or 90 degrees. It can only stay in one place, so you have to move. When you move it, you have to make sure it's kind of like a tank destroyer, but with a dart gun. Moving on. Okay, so now we're on to the Strafe Battalion. I presume that's it. The Strafe Battalion consists of soldiers who were found guilty of misconduct. They were used to fight in the most dangerous missions, and they were considered expendable. They are lightly equipped but have enough Panzerfaust to do some serious damage if anything comes close to them. One of their tactics in real life was to let Soviet tanks drive over their trenches to destroy them in a suicidal way. Okay, so they're basically like suicidal idiots, I guess. Well, not really, but they're suicidal I guess if they had like C4 attached to their straps, or C4 attached to them, then they're basically suicidal. They don't have much on them, and they're really meant to be for kind of blowing up tanks at literally point blank range to blow up anything in their path. Moving on to the Stoss Trump. The Stoss Trump comes with half-tramp mounting special Jaegers and a 28mm anti-tank gun. This little gun is doing well enough to protect your soldiers from armoured cars and offers a great counter to autocannon armoured cars that you might find along the way. So basically, it's good. Again, it has a 28mm kind of derp gun, and it has oh no, sorry, it's not a derp gun, it's a 28mm anti-tank gun, so taking out tanks, and it's also good enough to support your soldiers as well, and it offers a great counter to autocannon armored cars that you might, so it's good against autocannons that you might face along the way. Moving on to the SDK 234 to the 234-4, so the cousin of the Puma, equipped with a 75mm pack. This armor car can take out, so it's basically the same as the SDK 34-3 but with a 75mm gun. Car can take out quite some well armored targets. However, no turret means it's hard to hunt down moving targets. It's great ambush vehicle, and you can switch its positions quickly. So it's a fast vehicle with no turret, and it's a great ambush vehicle if you want to take out tanks, kind of like a tank destroyer with a 75mm gun. So if you're, let's say you're getting overrun and you've got this vehicle, move it back, just kind of like a sniper position because it's got no turret, and you can shoot at kind of close to long range with its nice 75mm gun. Moving on, radio operator. Of course, the radio operator mustn't go missing on the OSFRONT veteran either, so you'll find it in the special unit section as well. So nothing to it, it's a radio operator, nothing else to it. Now one of the most exciting things I've been looking for is for the Buetz Panzer T-34. Now you might be thinking, T-34 isn't that a Russian tank? It is. Whenever the Germans could, they took conquered material and used them against their former owners. The Buetz Panzer T-34 is such an example. Enjoy it with special camo paint and support infantry guarding it. So it's a good tank, and it's good for supporting special camo. Enjoy it with the special camo. So it's actually got special camo paint. I don't know if you can see it, but it's kind of right at the turret there, like a wee camo thing there, and a paint and support infantry guarding it. So make sure you have infantry guarding this tank, because if the enemy have an anti-tank squad, then make sure you have guards around it, because this thing can be taken out by anti-tank squad. So make sure you have a squad surrounding this tank. Moving on to the SDK 8 Flak 37. Now, as if mounting a 37mm flak isn't enough, this armoured truck comes with an 88mm flak mounted on it, a great anti-tank choice for a reasonable price. So as you can see, it's basically an 88mm flak gun on it, on a mounted truck, with an armoured mounted truck on it, with a reasonable price. So nothing else much to it, and it's a big gun if you want to take out, maybe like an IS-2 or something. So buy that if you see like Tiger 1s or maybe something like a T-29 or anything like that on the battlefield. Next we have only 3 more to go, and I think we are almost done. So next we've got kind of rocket launchers, the Schweers Wurfgert, I'm actually butchering this name as well, the stationary sibling of the Stuka. Very powerful, very strong, but at a higher price than the stationary rocket launcher. So this is a stationary rocket launcher armed by men. So make sure it's more pricey, more powerful, very strong, but has a higher price than the armored version, which is this one here. Remember this one? This is also another rocket launcher, but it's the same, but it's more powerful, and uses men, and has a higher price, and except from that's really it. Next is the Shroom Bar, which is actually again another thing I'm very excited for in the game, part of the new DLC. The Shroom Bar, the Grumbling Bear, has a short barreled 150mm howitzer. It's not exactly accurate, but thanks to the extremely good front armor, you can drive in relatively close to your enemies, and who needs pinpoint accuracy with 150mm explosive shell anyways. Yeah, so basically it's a howitzer, it's got no accuracy, and you take it close quarters and nothing can really pin it from the front unless you've got a really good high caliber gun. And it's good for close quarters. Now, like, it's a tank destroyer, so it's got no turret, so make sure you don't get outflanked by it, and it's very vulnerable to side. If you've got an anti-tank squad, let's say, or the enemy have an anti-tank squad and they get the side of it, it's dead. So make sure you have infantry surrounding this vehicle as well, because, oh, sorry guys, sorry, for some reason it just went there, I backed away. Anyway, back to it. It's got no accuracy, very good armor, and make sure it just doesn't get flanked. Moving on to the very last thing, which is and by the way, this was kind of already in the game, I think, but with a different gun. But yeah, moving on to the Jagdtiger. Now, the Jagdtiger is already in the game if you use a mod, but now that the DLC, you can actually get it within the game. The Jagdtiger hunting tiger is exactly what its name says. It's a tiger tank for hunting down other tanks. The 128mm main gun makes this beast of a tank killer. The frontal armor is almost impenetrable for almost other tanks, but as with many tank destroyers, watch your tracks. Stay tuned for more. Oh, sorry, I was not meant to do it. So the Jagdtiger. Again, it's kind of like a Shroom Bar, but bigger and better with a much bigger gun, 128mm, and like with all the TDs, make sure it doesn't get tracked, because if it gets tracked, that means you can get outflanked by anti-tank squads or tanks, and then you can get killed at the side or the rear. So make sure you always show your front to this, because it's a very strong vehicle, and it's very also these tank destroyers, I forgot to say, are very vulnerable to artillery hits. So maybe like the Gorilla or the Wisp or any other artillery in the game, or rocket launchers. Make sure you don't get hit by them, because they can stun the crew, they can, you know, lose your track, and then the enemy can just flank you and kill you. So be careful. You keep this at it. This would be good for a long to medium distance, because this thing has got a great range and it's got 128mm gun. So make sure you keep this thing back and not really up close. So that is it, I think, for the OSFRONT veteran. Stay tuned for more news and update. We're eager to listen to your feedback. So yeah, that is it for this DLC. I know this has been a really long episode. This is maybe around about 45 minutes now, maybe, hopefully not, but this is probably around about 45 minutes time. But that is the whole of the new DLC, the OSFRONT veteran DLC. Now at the end of it, now this is where I get to decide whether it's worth it or not, whether you guys should buy it or not. Should you buy it? Yes, I think you should buy it, because it's this DLC. There hasn't been a DLC in Men of War Assault Squad for at least maybe a couple years ago, or maybe 2016. I feel like that was the last time or maybe 2017. I can't remember, but I feel like that's the last time they released a DLC. So definitely get this game, and if it is on discount, hopefully, and it's only £7, it's not exactly expensive. So I'll definitely be getting it, and then I'll be showing you maybe the missions or any other or the games in the new DLC. So do I think it's worth it? Yes. Do I think you should get it straight away? Yes. Well, unless you're super rich and you've got enough money, then yes. Or if you're still undecided, then I hope this video's helped. And if you still not decided and you want to wait for something and if you want to wait for a price to go down, then probably wait till, if you want to wait for the price to go down on this, probably wait till like Christmas or something. It won't be going down by much because it is still very cheap. Maybe it'll probably go maybe down like 10% something. So make sure if you're still undecided and you want to wait till it goes cheaper, then probably wait till Christmas time, because that's where the Steam sale will probably be on. So yeah, that's probably when you'll get it at a better time if you guys are still undecided. But I hope if you're undecided and you've watched this video and now you're decided, then make sure you leave it in the comments down below, because it's good to hear whether you've changed your mind and whether I've helped you decide whether to get this OSFRONT Veteran DLC or not. So I presume there is. I don't know if there's campaign missions for it, but like I said, I'll definitely be buying it and showing you missions and all the infantry squads for this. So actually tell me guys if you want me to do a video on the different factions and sections on Men of War, because I can just load up a map and I can just play by myself, and I can show you the different vehicles. I can show you different infantry squads within the new factions. So tell me if you want me to do that. But anyway guys, I hope this has been really helpful, made up your mind, and I'd like to thank you so much for watching. If you do want more of news episodes of maybe Call to Arms and Men of War, then make sure you leave a like, comment down below, share this video as well, so everybody knows, and everybody who loves Men of War and war games, any war games, make sure you tell them to come in and tell them to watch videos like mine or any other YouTubers that kind of relate to this video. Anyway guys, I'd like to thank you so much for watching, and also I forgot to say all my social media links are down below if you do want to follow me on up-to-date news on you know, I'll probably be releasing, I'll share my videos on Twitter, so make sure you go check that out. I also do have a Patreon page, so make sure you go check that out as well. But anyway, I'd like to, guys, thank you so much for watching and all your support, and I will see you in the next video. See you later, and goodbye.